Hey everyone, this is Michael Coker. I'm the mayor of the city of Mulberry, and today we have a special treat. We have Chief Robert Jones of the City of Mulberry Marshal's Office, and he's going to talk to you a lot about what a marshal's office does, what a marshal is, and kind of what's been going on behind the scenes with the city of Mulberry. First off, Chief Jones, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, Mayor, for having me today.
Oh,
I
it's
really
my
appreciate it.
pleasure. My pleasure. I appreciate you doing this. And I think this will be one of our biggest episodes because I think there's been a lot of questions about what's been going on behind the scenes. But before we jump in, why don't you just kind of introduce yourself? Where are you from? Talk a little about your career path. How'd you get to Mulberry?
Sure. I'm a North Georgia boy. I'm originally from Calhoun, which is North Georgia up at I-75, right? Uh, Born and raised there. Went to high school there. Graduated high school. I wouldn't say I needed a lot of direction, but I needed some, right? I was one of those kids where I needed more stability in my life. So 3 days after I graduated high school, I went off into the Marines and spent time in the Marines. Did my enlistment there, and I started to transition when I was getting ready to get out. I really started to transition. Hey, what do I want to do in the next step of my life? I'd always loved law enforcement, wanted to be in law enforcement, and so it kind of made sense to take that route for me. I started my career in Rome, Georgia, where I was a police officer there, and then moved on to Gordon County, which is where Calhoun's from. Went back to my hometown to police for a little while, and just kind of worked my way up through investigations, traffic, and all those types of things. Ultimately, I worked on some DEA task forces with Bartow County, and then around 2010, I took a promotion to be the chief of investigations in a small city of Adairsville, which is right up there. A lot of people know it for Barnsley Gardens and
Mm-hmm.
that area there. So became the chief of investigations there. Then was a year later promoted to the police chief, and then was chief there for about 4 years. Got the opportunity to be a warden of a prison for 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and then took a opportunity to go down to South Georgia on the coast, city of Kingsland. Beautiful city, beautiful place, and was the chief of the city of Kingsland for about 3 years. Being down there was great, a little buggy, but great people, right? But I really started missing home. The opportunity came for me to go to the city of Woodstock, and I was the chief there for almost 3 years, and just decided after 27 years of law enforcement that I was gonna retire. I was gonna take a break. Then somebody called me and said, "Hey, what do you think about helping the city of Mulberry out?" And you know, I took the phone call. I sat back, I thought about it for a little while, and they told me they were building a marshal's office here, and that there was some expectations of what it could possibly be in the future, and not many people have that opportunity to start at the very ground level.
Mm-hmm.
What's exciting about it is you don't have to correct a lot of issues that are there, but the other thing is that you can really mess it up because it's all your fault. There's nobody else to blame when you're the one doing it. So I say all that to say I've had some great opportunities in
Mm-hmm.
my career. I had the opportunity to go to the FBI National Academy back in
Mm-hmm.
2024, class session 291. I also get the opportunity to teach at the Georgia Law Enforcement Command College in their PMP program. And then also I serve as an instructor with the Georgia Chiefs Association and their new appointed Chiefs program. So I've had great opportunities. I've been entrusted with a lot. And so in the short term, there's nothing I've done that I couldn't have done unless somebody helped me out.
Mm-hmm.
This is not something that I can say that I've done by myself. It was always opportunities that were given me, and I just kind of walked through the door.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Well, first off, thank you for your military service. I'm learning something new. I'm not sure I knew that about you. So I appreciate that. And obviously, I appreciate your extensive law enforcement experience too. I know that when you answered the call and said yes to Mulberry, I know we were very excited and very much appreciated it because to have somebody of your caliber and your experience to come in and start the marshal's office is obviously something that we do not take for granted. I mean, we very much appreciate that as you being a part of the team for
Well, I
sure.
appreciate that, the confidence you've instilled, but in the long run, I look at it as, this is inauguration for everybody.
Mm.
In my short amount of time here, I've seen a lot of support from the council, the city manager, and, And what that helps do, it helps instill confidence from the public that public safety is a priority in Mulberry, and in whatever capacity it is, right? And what you guys are doing is instilling that confidence that you're going to make the steps to make sure that Mulberry's safe.
And I appreciate that. Let me talk a little bit. So, for those that maybe don't know, one of the most common questions I get is, "What is a marshal's office?" Right? I mean, I think when you've started to see those marshal cars driving around the city, and I keep getting emails, I keep getting Facebook messages of, what is this? What is going on? So, just generally, before we dive into Mulberry specifically, what is a marshal's office? What do they do? What is their role from a public safety standpoint?
Right. So a marshal's office essentially handles the majority of quality of life issues that take place within a municipality, or there's even some counties that have marshal's offices. And what that is code enforcement, building inspection. Some are even tasked with animal control, and some are tasked with commercial vehicle issues in neighborhoods. So it's a combination of dealing with codes and quality of life issues within a municipality for the most part.
So, like, can you give us some examples, right? So, what are some things that are maybe the most common things that a marshal's office would see, or maybe they would take a phone, they would take a call and maybe send somebody out to take a look at?
Sure. So some things will be people building onto their residence. Maybe they didn't get permitted for, or maybe the neighbor didn't understand that they did get permitted for, or maybe they're doing those renovations after hours and it's causing a disturbance. So those are the types of things that we would address. Uh, they're not 911 calls, right? If we get the complaint through our system, if we get it, uh, let's say we got it on Friday, it may not get handled till Monday, but it will get handled, right? We try to have a response of about 48 hours, unless it's a real nuisance that is really messing with the quality of life of the neighbors. There's not things that you would normally, if somebody's trying to break into your house, if we hear it on the radio, yes, we'll respond as well. But that's something you need to call 911 for and let them go and take care of that.
So for some of the people out there that are like, "Oh, great, here we go. This is a glorified HOA," and they're going to be out there with their measuring sticks, checking to make sure I got enough pine straw or those kind of things. Can you put their mind at ease of, like, that's not really what you're trying to do?
Of course not. We are not here to try to be the dictator of somebody's property, right? I wouldn't have taken this job if that was the issue, right? Because I understand that these are their castles. There has to be a mutual respect. We primarily work off complaints, and the complaints have to have some warrant to them. We will go out, look at it ourselves before we even decide to take any type of action. But what I do find is that there is a sense of pride in these communities, and we do receive complaints on a lot of things. Some things we can't do. A lot of it has to do with criminal codes, which primarily would be Gwinnett County Police Department, but the life safety codes and things like that we do respond to, and we do try to handle those issues. Now, when I say we handle them, we handle them with the agreement of the individual who may be violating the codes, to give them the opportunity to correct it before any type of citation is issued. We want voluntary compliance, right? We don't want to have a courtroom full of people. We don't want to be a money machine. We don't want to be those types of things.
Sure.
Some people would call it a tax man with a badge, right?
Right.
We don't want to be that. We want to be part of the community. We want to be the solution and not a problem.
Yeah, and I appreciate both that kind of attitude that you've both stated here today, but also, I've seen firsthand in the way you've handled things is, we have had multiple people who have, been out of compliance, that the marshal have reached out and said, "Hey, listen, this is an issue. Is there something we can address?" And the people take care of it, right? Because, like you said, I think the vast majority of people take a lot of pride in this community and keeping it looking nice and keeping it a great place to live. And so, I have appreciated that about you, that you're not quick to write a citation and force somebody to pay this exorbitant fine. That only comes down the road if there's a pattern of non-compliance. And so I definitely have appreciated that about you and about your style, and I hope that continues also within the city. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about, so specific to Mulberry now. So can you talk, I know that, you get hired, right,
Right.
by the city to create this marshal's office. And And first off, I know you said there's other municipalities that kind of have it. So what is your vision? What are you doing? What steps are you taking to kind of make this vision come to fruition?
Right. So initially, to start the marshal's office, we're our mandate is to enforce the codes, and as a public safety arm of the city, there's certain things that we actually have to go through a process of doing before we can even get in the cars, before we can start enforcing those codes. There's training that takes place. There's equipment we have to have. And, a lot of people think, well, you give them a badge, you give them a car, and they can go off to work. And
Mm,
that's just not feasible for any public safety agency. You need to start building the foundation, whether it's policy, training, and leadership. You got to have that in place before you really need to just go out there and start enforcing the codes. So it's things that we've done. We've had to we had to get cars. We had to get cars striped. We have to make sure that they're in compliance with the Department of Public Safety. We have to make sure that we have a clear understanding of what the codes of Mulberry are and make sure they coincide with state law as well. And then on top of that, we have to get what they call ORI numbers, originating agency numbers, so we can be recognized as a public safety agency. We have to make sure that we're able to run things through the Georgia Crime Information Center, National Crime Information Center. Somebody's parked a car, maybe it's a abandoned vehicle. We can be able to run the vehicle identification number, the VIN on that. We have to have permission to use all these systems, and this takes time. It's not something that's automatic.
sure.
So, but we have been triaging along the way. I think I was sworn in September 11th. So just over 4 months, we've done a lot, and to make sure that we're heading in the right direction, and it's starting to come to a head where we're getting close to where we need to be. But that doesn't mean we're still not providing services. It's just we may not be as visible as we'd like to be right now,
Mm,
and ultimately we just want to be in the neighborhoods as well, right? We want to be part of the community. We want them to see the marshal's car, the code enforcement cars going through and knowing, hey, they're out here doing a service for us,
mm.
and they're out here doing what we ask them to do.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And I think that just kind of touch on that. Obviously, the city of Mulberry, we code enforcement is one of the services we took over. So obviously, this is my understanding is y'all are operating under that code enforcement arm. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct? Yeah, and I obviously I appreciate that. If you could touch on, I know you said we talked about these cars, right? I think they're parked at the fire station right now. And I know you both our city manager Jamie Palmer obviously came from the city of Woodstock. I know you have a history with city of Woodstock. Can you talk a little about how we got those cars? Maybe the relationship we have with the city of Woodstock and kind of
Sure.
their commitment to helping us out as
Sure.
well.
So the city manager, Jamie Palmer, he initially came over from Woodstock, and when the idea of starting the marshal's office came about, uh, Jamie inquired about some of our older cars at Woodstock. So we kind of, now this was before I was even
Mm.
in the conversation. I want to make that clear. We didn't like touch elbows. We'll make things happen, right?
Right, right.
But when Jamie inquired about the vehicles, we had some that we were getting ready to surplus, and just to be honest with you, police cars don't come at a high price. Used ones anyway, so
Mm.
for at a high price. So these were fully equipped cars. Of course, we took the cameras out, the radar out of them, and the radios, the really high ticket items. But we did get those cars and get them ready for Mulberry to surplus to them, and that was approved through the city council there in Woodstock. And it was a great opportunity to get some vehicles. Now, to be honest, they are high mileage vehicles, right? They're
Mhm.
100,000 mile vehicles, but they were well maintained. We did our best when I was there to maintain those vehicles, but they are operational. And hopefully, as we continue to move through the process, we'll start getting them out more.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say this too, is obviously as somebody who never has really worked in municipal government, I mean, never really been a part of municipal government. One of the most interesting things that I'm amazed at is a lot of times through the Georgia Municipal Association, it's just kind of the camaraderie amongst the cities, right? That cities want to help their fellow cities, right? And I felt like whether that's a city that's right down the street in Gwinnett County, or that's a city that's over in Cherokee County, or
Right.
a little ways across the Metro Atlanta, everybody's always like been coming up to me, what can we do to help? And I know that I really appreciate the city of Woodstock and what they've done as part of this camaraderie to say, hey, we know what the struggles are with the city. We know it's difficult. We have these cars. We're going to help y'all out. If y'all want them, you can take them. And like you said, they took a vote on it, they agreed to it, and then we voted to obviously accept the donation. And so obviously I know that's a huge deal. It was a huge expense that we were spared because of their generosity. And so I know I want to personally thank the city of Woodstock for what they've done just in helping us kind of get off the ground, and almost kind of they like they've put their arm around us like a little brother and said, "Hey, we'll help you. We can do what we can." And for all the cities that have done that have been tremendous. So
Well, it's, I found it in life, just like in municipal government, we can't do this alone,
sure,
right? And it's imperative that we have partnerships, not only in our community, but far-reaching partnerships. The importance of that, nobody has all the answers. Nobody's done it all, especially in government. Um, I remember as the chief, sometimes somebody said, "You won't believe what just happened." And I'm like, "Try me." And then all of a sudden I got that, "Do what?"
mm,
Right. So there are things that other people and other municipalities will experience that you don't have to experience the same thing, that you can
sure,
learn and be able to talk to those people, go to the Georgia Municipal Association, spend time with those folks. And Woodstock's a great community. They've built a great community over there, and there's no doubt in my mind that the community here in Mulberry is going to be just as well received by the citizens.
yeah, and I appreciate that. Kind of moving on. So if we look down the road, right, and we let's say we get this marshal's office up and running and everything's looking good, and let's say one day, could be 10 years in the future, could be whenever, that maybe the citizens of Mulberry decide, hey, we want to explore having a police department.
Right.
Is that something where this marshal's department could then be converted into a police department if they decided down the road?
Yes, sir. Everything now is in place, where the marshal's office could easily be converted into an everyday police department. There's great services that are offered by the county, but there's reasons that people want regional control of their law enforcement agencies. What is done in Mulberry isn't the same type of policing that's done in Atlanta,
Mm,
right? And it's very important to realize that a lot of people get confused with community policing, that it's all just about programs. And really, what community policing is policing to the needs of the community. What's a serious issue here in Mulberry may not be a serious issue in somewhere else, right? If you go to a more urban area, the police may say, "Hey, that's not a problem for us," but the quality of life and the expectation of service may be different than what it would be here in Mulberry as well.
sure, and I certainly understand that. Well, obviously, I appreciate you being here, explaining what a marshal's office is, explaining the work you've been doing. Kind of as we get here towards the end, a couple kind of final points I want to make is one is if anybody wanted to get in touch with you and kind of ask, or maybe they have a concern, what would be the best way first off for them to reach out to the marshal's office?
The best way to reach out to us is to contact us through the online portal, and contact us via email. We got our phones with us all the time. Those emails hit, and we can look them up and see exactly what's going on. There's a complaint portal as well. Those complaint portals allow us to prioritize how the complaints are. Right now, we're in the process of hiring two new code enforcement officers, and those code enforcement officers will be split into zones for the city.
Mm.
We'll split the city in half, and each one will have a zone. That doesn't mean they won't ever cross over zones or anything like that. It's not going to be as
Sure.
strict as it might be in law enforcement, but they'll be responsible for a beat, as we call it, and that beat, we'll be able to prioritize those calls, send them to them, and then they'll be able to go and handle those calls individually. So we're kind of excited with the upcoming opportunity to hire those two civilian code enforcement officers, because right now it's just me and another employee,
Mhm.
so it's keeping us busy.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, we look forward to obviously having that build out and having those other individuals come. As we kind of wrap up, is there anything else that you want to tell the citizens of Mulberry kind of about, what your vision is or what you foresee kind of moving forward?
Well, I always say this: the Constitution is near and dear to my heart, and I wouldn't do this job or take the oath if it wasn't important to me. And I promise this, that we will always drive to do what's right by not only the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of Georgia, and what our charter not only allows, but what is right for the people here in Mulberry.
Wow, what a great way to end it. Couldn't have said it better myself. I appreciate that. Well, everybody out there, thank you for listening to this conversation about the Marshal's office. Obviously, if you like getting these updates about Mulberry, like and subscribe. Chief Jones, absolute pleasure. Great information. I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.